Yehovah, reveal to me the ways of your kingdom. Open my eyes to the path of your Son, and form in me a heart that serves, suffers well, and sees clearly. Yehovah Channun, Yehovah Who Is Gracious. Overflow your generosity into my heart, Yehovah. Break entitlement, uproot pride, and make me a joyful servant in your kingdom. Yehovah Channun, holy, holy, holy. Please fill me and lead me, and cover me and stir me, and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity, achad, with himself, and you shall act upon your love, Yehovah. To Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts and mind, with your entire body, with all the muchness that you have. Yod, He, Vav, He. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Matthew chapter 20. The kingdom of heaven is like a farmer who went out at daybreak to hire workers for his vineyard. After agreeing with the workers on a wage of 1 denarius, the standard daily wage, he sent them off to his vineyard. Then, on going out about 9 in the morning, he saw more men standing around in the market square, doing nothing. And he said to them, "You go to the vineyard too. I'll pay you a fair wage." So they went. At noon, again around 3 in the afternoon, he did the same thing. About an hour before sundown, he went out, found still others standing around, and asked them, "Why have you been standing here all day long, doing nothing?" They said to him, "Because no one has hired us." "You too," he told them, "go to the vineyard." When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, starting with the last one hired and ending with the first." And the workers who came an hour before sunset each received a denarius. So the workers who came first expected they would get more, but each of them also received just a denarius. On receiving their wages, they began grumbling to the farmer, "These latecomers have worked only 1 hour, while we have borne the brunt of the day's work in the hot sun. Yet you have put them on equal footing with us." But he answered one of them, "Look, friend, I'm not being unfair to you. Didn't you agree to work today for a denarius? Now take your pay and go. I choose to give the last worker as much as I'm giving to you. Haven't I the right to do what I want with what belongs to me? Or do you begrudge my generosity? Thus the last ones will be first and the first last." As Yeshua, the Aleph Natav, was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 Talmudim, disciples, aside by themselves and said to them, as they went on their way, "We are now going up to Jerusalem, where the Son of Man will be handed over to the head Kohanim and the Torah teachers. They will sentence him to death and turn him over to the pagans, who will jeer at him, beat him, and execute him on a stake as a criminal. But on the 3rd day he will be raised." Then Zabdi's son came to Yeshua, the Aleph Natav, with their mother. She bowed down, begging a favor from him. He said to her, "What do you want?" She replied, "Promise that when you become king, these 2 sons of mine may sit, one at your right and the other at your left." But Yeshua, the Aleph Natav, answered, "You people don't know what you're asking. Can you drink the cup that I am about to drink?" They said to him, "We can." He said to them, "Yes, you will drink my cup. But to sit at my right and at my left is not mine to give. It is for those whom my Father has prepared it." Now when the other 10 heard about this, they were outraged at the 2 brothers. But Yeshua, the Aleph Natav, called them and said, "You know that among the Gentiles, those who are supported to rule them become tyrants, and their superiors become dictators. Among you, it must not be like that. On the contrary, whoever among you wants to be a leader must become your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. As they were leaving Jericho, a large crowd followed Yeshua, the Aleph and the Tav. Two blind men sitting by the side of the road heard that was being passed by and shouted, "Son of David, have pity on us!" The crowd scolded them and told them to be quiet, but they shouted all the louder, "Master, Son of David, have pity on us!" Yeshua, the Aleph and the Tav, stopped, called them and said, "What do you want me to do for you?" They said to him, "Master, open our eyes." Filled with tenderness, Yeshua, the Aleph and Tav, touched their eyes, and instantly they received their sight and followed him. What is the Hebrew word that encapsulates this chapter? Chesed, covenant generosity, loyal love. Generosity born from covenant loyalty, not from human fairness. Matthew 20 is Chesed in action. The king gives, the king suffers, the king serves, and the king opens the eyes of those who cry to him. The core theme. The kingdom turns everything upside down. Last or first, the king becomes a servant, the blind see, and the entitled learn humility. How can we learn to love Yehovah with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength? We can love Yehovah by trusting his generosity rather than demanding fairness. Love Yehovah by embracing the path of Yehovah's suffering and resurrection. Love Yehovah by serving rather than seeking position or privilege. How can we bear one another's burdens? How can we love our neighbors as we love ourselves and as Yeshua loves us? By rejoicing when others are blessed, even if they receive more than expected. By serving others without expecting honor in return. By responding to cries by mercy. By responding to cries for mercy with compassion and action, like Yeshua with the blind men. How can we bear one another's burdens? By lifting discouraged brothers who feel left behind or undervalued, by walking with those who struggle to accept suffering as part of following Yeshua, by giving generously time, energy, mercy, as the King gives generously. What are the top 3 fruits of the Spirit found? 1. Generosity. Ni-divut. The kingdom rewards by grace, not works. 2. Humility. Anava. True greatness is service. 3. Mercy. Rachamim. The king stops for the blind and gives sight. The 4 kingdom movements of Matthew 20. 1. The vineyard workers. The king's generosity. The first and the last receive the same wages. This is not injustice. It is chesed, covenant generosity. The master gives from his goodness, not human fairness. 2. The 3rd prophecy. The king's destiny. Yeshua lays out his suffering in detail. Betrayed, mocked, beaten, crucified, and raised. This is the price of redemption and leadership. 3. Zebedee's request. The king's definition of greatness. Greatness is not position. Greatness is not power. Greatness is not proximity. Greatness is serving as he serves, even into suffering. 4. The blind men. The king's recognition. They cry, "Son of David!" They say what others cannot. Yeshua stops, listens, and heals, revealing messianic authority and mercy. What is the mitzvah response, Torah-Based? Command. You shall open wide your hand to your brother. Deuteronomy 15 verse 11. Fulfillment note. The kingdom life is marked by generosity, giving as the king gives without calculating who deserves what. How can we find Yeshua in the chapter connection? He reveals the generous heart of Yehovah through the vineyard parable. He predicts his suffering with clarity and courage. He redefines greatness as servanthood. He embodies mercy by stopping for the blind. He shows that those who see him rightly are those who cry for mercy. He demonstrates that kingdom economics run on Chesed, not merit. Yeshua is the generous king, the suffering servant, and true leader, and the one who opens the eyes of the humble. Hebrew declaration. Mi vachesh chesed ha-melech veholech b'derech ha-eved. I seek the generosity of the king and walk in the way of the servant. One sentence summary. The kingdom lifts the lowly, honors servants, reveals destiny, and opens blind eyes. Rest in his generosity. Walk his path of surrender. Serve as he served. See as the blind men saw. After having read this chapter, here are the heart-piercing questions. In Matthew 20, Yeshua confronts envy in the vineyard, selfish ambition in his disciples, and blindness on the road. What in your life shows that you still want kingdom rewards and kingdom status, but resist the way of hidden service, humble obedience, and crying out like a desperate blind man for mercy? Another. Envy in the vineyard. In the parable of the workers in the vineyard, those who worked all day resented the generosity of the owner toward the ones who came last. Where in your heart do you secretly feel cheated because Yehovah has been too generous to someone else, exposing that you value comparison more than covenant grace? Another. Right to wages versus trust in the master. The landowner asks, "Is your eye evil because I am good?" When Yeshua blesses others in ways you wanted for yourself, does it increase your worship of his goodness or expose an evil eye that quietly accuses him of being unfair? Another. Ambition in the name of ministry. The mother of Yaakov and Kha-NOON asks for her sons to sit at Yeshua's right and left in his kingdom. If he exposed your deepest motivations, how much of your service and calling is still driven by a desire to be seen, recognized, or elevated in the eyes of others? Another. Are you ready for his cup or just for his glory? Yeshua asked them, "Can you drink the cup that I'm going to drink?" If following him meant embracing rejection and suffering and misunderstanding for his name, would your life say yes to the cup itself or only to the glory on the other side? Another. Greatness redefined as servanthood. Yeshua says that in his kingdom, whoever wants to become great must be a servant, and whoever wants to be first must be a slave. If we measured greatness by how consistently you take the lowest place, who would you be in the room quietly serving at the back or still reaching for the front? Another. Pattern of the Son of Man. Yeshua describes his own path. The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Does your daily posture look like someone waiting to be served, or someone who has settled the issue that their life belongs to Yehovah and is meant to be poured out? Another. Blind men who refuse to be silenced. On the way out of Jericho, the two blind men cried, "Son of David, have mercy on us!" And the crowd tried to shut them up. But they shouted all the more when pressure, mocked, or social expectations try to quiet your cry for Yeshua. Do you get louder in your pursuit or quieter to stay acceptable? Another. What do you want me to do for you? Yeshua stops and asks the blind man, "What do you want me to do for you?" If he asked you that same question right now, would your answer reveal a heart that wants deeper sight, holiness, and obedience, or mainly relief from discomfort and a more comfortable life? Another. Following after mercy, after receiving their sight, the two men followed him on the road. How many times has Yehovah shown you mercy, healed you, or provided for you, and you took the gift but did not significantly change your path to follow him more closely? lastly. First and last, again. Matthew 20 circles back to the same line. The last will be first and the first last. If Yeshua inverted the visible order of your church, ministry, or relationships based on hidden humility and obedience, would you move forward in that line? Or would you quietly find yourself moved to the back? We'll end with the Arianic blessing using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he'll provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you, set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shalom, shalom.